the grim and brutal universe, the orc stands as a paradox of crude simplicity and sheer resilience, driven by an insatiable lust for combat. While their straightforward minds and unique psychic presence, known as the wagh field, offer them a natural bulwark against the insidious manipulations of chaos, instances of demonic possession are exceedingly rare yet profoundly impactful. The orcs' boisterous mentality and robust physiology make them less susceptible to the warp's corruptive whispers. However, when a demon does manage to breach this formidable defense, the results are both unpredictable and catastrophic, amplifying the orc's already ferocious nature, or even trapping the demon in the orc's already chaotic mind. Orcs have a fundamentally different and simplistic mindset compared to other species. They possess a robust and straightforward psyche focused on violence, warfare, and survival. Their lack of complex emotions and their single-minded nature make them less susceptible to the manipulations and corruptions that chaos typically uses to ensnare other beings. Chaos often exploits feelings like fear, ambition, or desire. Orcs generally don't experience fear in a way that chaos can exploit, nor do they have the same kind of ambitions that lead other races to seek power, knowledge, or other enticements from the chaos gods. Orcs are content with fighting and looting for their own sake, rather than seeking power from external sources. The psychic presence of orcs in the warp is different from that of other species. Orcs generate a collective psychic field known as the wagh, which is a product of their collective belief and enthusiasm for war. This field is a strong, unique form of psychic energy that chaos finds difficult to penetrate or corrupt. It essentially acts as a shield against warp entities. Chaos energy and orc wagh energy are essentially completely different and incompatible. To a further end, orc wagh energy is almost completely unexplainable, simply making improbable events occur because an orc believes it. Vehicles move faster, weapons hit harder, and orcs fight better simply because they believe it. Is wagh energy derived from the warp? Even the greatest and most heretical scholars are yet to make a determination on that. What we do know is that wagh energy works in a chaotic, yet effective manner for orcs. Orcs are a biologically engineered species, created by the ancient race known as the Old Ones. They are designed to be robust, resilient, and focused on perpetual war, with inherent biological resistance to various forms of psychic corruption. Their unique physiology and genetic makeup contribute to their resistance against chaos possession. Orcs see chaos as just another enemy to fight. They view demons and chaos entities not as potential allies or sources of power, but simply as more adversaries to crush in battle. This adversarial attitude means they are more likely to attack chaos forces than to be tempted or influenced by them. Ultimately, though, the chaos god Khorne likely has the best chance of possessing an orc due to their inherent love of bloodshed and violence. Orcs are naturally drawn to constant battle and slaughter, qualities that align closely with the ethos of Khorne, the blood god. Their relentless desire for combat and their simplistic, war-driven mindset resonate with Khorne's domain, making them more attuned to his influence than to the subtler manipulations of other chaos gods. While the robust wagh field and the orc's straightforward psychology generally protect them from demonic corruption, the raw, unbridled savagery that Khorne embodies could find a rare foothold in an orc, leading to a temporary but devastating union of orc brutality and demonic fury. Now there are stories and rumors of orcs being possessed by demons. In one just tale, we have the story of buzzr Irontooth. On the war-ravaged planet of Grimfang Prime, an unceasing conflict raged between the orc warbands and the forces of chaos. Among the chaos of war, a particularly ambitious demon of Khorne, named Khazrak the Bloodied, saw an opportunity to spread his influence by possessing one of the fiercest orcs on the battlefield. Buzzr, a massive knob known for his ferocity and cunning in battle, was in the midst of a brutal skirmish against a squad of Khorne berserkers when Khazrak made his move. As Buzzr decapitated the last berserker, Khazrak's essence surged into the orc, seeking to turn this vessel into a living weapon of Khorne. At first, the possession seemed successful. Buzzr's already immense strength and bloodlust were magnified tenfold by the demon's power. He tore through enemies with supernatural fury, his roars echoing across the battlefield. Other orcs, witnessing his newfound might, rallied behind him, forming an even more formidable warband. Khazrak reveled in the carnage, feeding off the endless slaughter. However, the mind of an orc is a simple, resilient fortress. Buzzgrot's thoughts were singular and overpowering: fight, kill, and enjoy the brawl. Unlike other beings who could be twisted by promises of power or whispers of corruption, Buzzgrot's mind was a chaotic maelstrom of primal instincts. The more Khazrak tried to assert control, the more Buzzgrot's inherent orkiness fought back. Instead of subduing the knob, Khazrak found himself trapped in an unending internal brawl. Buzzgrot merely thought his head hurt. Khazrak soon realized his mistake. Unlike humans or Eldar, who could be manipulated with complex emotions and fears, Buzzgrot's mind was a relentless tide of violence and simplicity. The demon's attempts to command the orc were met with resistance and confusion. The knob's psyche was not a canvas for corruption, but a battlefield in itself, constantly attacking the demon's presence with raw, unfiltered aggression. Khazrak's essence began to weaken, battered by the constant mental assault. Buzzgrot, now somewhat aware of a presence trying to control him, grew more furious, repeatedly beating himself in the head to no avail. The orc's innate resistance and the overwhelming power of the wagh made Khazrak's position increasingly untenable. In a final act of defiance, Buzzgrot led his warband against a fortified chaos stronghold. As they charged, Buzzgrot's internal struggle reached its peak. The combined force of the knob's indomitable will and the wagh surged against Khazrak, forcing the demon to manifest more visibly in desperation to maintain control. But this exposure was Khazrak's undoing. The weird boys among Buzzgrot's warband, attuned to the wagh, and sensing the unnatural presence, focused their chaotic psychic powers on the knob. Their combined psychic blast, infused with the raw energy of the wagh, expelled Khazrak from Buzzgrot's body in a violent explosion of warp energy. In a final act of rage and defiance, Khazrak ripped out of Buzzgrot's chest, creating a massive hole that would stagger a lesser being. Buzzgrot simply stood amidst the chaos and continued to fight, forgetting that he should have died from his wounds. His orcs, seeing him withstand and reject a powerful daemon, hailed him as the greatest knob they had ever seen. Buzzgrot's legend grew, and his warband became even more feared. Khazrak, banished back to the warp, seethed with regret and fury. The experience of being overpowered by an orc's raw, unyielding spirit was a humiliation he would never forget. The lesson was clear. Orcs, with their sheer will and simplistic yet indomitable psyche, were far from ideal vessels for the demonic ambitions of chaos. Overall, the combination of their simplistic and warlike mentality, unique psychic field, biological resilience, and inherent opposition to chaos results in orcs being notably resistant to possession by chaos entities. The lesson is also clear: even if an orc can be possessed, should it be done?